Tiwari, and today we're gonna learn about serialization. So, what is serialization and why do we require serialization? Serialization is a process of converting object state to a byte stream. So, why do we require to convert our object into a byte stream? So, the answer is whenever we want to transfer our object over a network or from one network to another network or from one system to another system, we cannot directly transfer our object. We have to convert our object into a format which is understandable by the network. So that format is the byte stream. Once we'll get the byte stream, we can transfer it over a network or we can save it into the database. How can we define any class as serializable? We have to implement the serializable interface, that is a marker interface, and that is the part of java.io package. What is the marker interface? Marker interface means uh, we don't have to overwrite any of its method. It is just for the marking purpose. Once we'll implement the serializable interface, jvm will come to know this particular class which is implementing serializable interface is serializable. It is always recommended to provide serial version UID. What is serial version UID and what is the applicability of it? Serial version UID is used to track any change made in the class. So whatever the class we are using to while serializing any particular object, the same version of the class should be available while we deserializing it. Otherwise, it will throw the error serial version UID mismatch. Now, if we are not providing the serial version UID, JVM will also calculate the serial version UID on the basis of parameter and method available inside the class. Write object method is used for the serializing any object. So the syntax is public final void write object, and which is taking object as an input parameter. It is final, that means we cannot override the write object method. It is void, that means it is not returning any value, and we are passing object as an input parameter, the object which we want to serialize. Supposing I have a class and I don't want to serialize all of its variable, so I can mark those variable as transient. So the variable which I have marked as a transient, that won't participate in the serialization process. Supposing I have a class that is implementing the serializable interface, all of its subclass will also be serializable as per the rule of inheritance. The same inheritance rule also applicable for the serializable interface. Supposing I have a class and its superclass is not implementing the serializable interface, but the subclass is implementing the serializable interface. So this will work fine. This won't throw any error, but all the variable available in the superclass will be initialized by the default constructor or zero argument constructor. If we are not initializing the value inside the zero argument constructor, it will store the null references. If serializable class has any reference to any other class object, in that case the other class also be define also implement the serializable interface. Let's understand this by one example. Supposing I have one student class which is implementing the serializable interface, and I have another class department which is not implementing the serializable interface, but I am using department class, the variable of department class inside the student class. In that case it will throw the error because the department class is not serializable. Either we have to implement serializable interface in the department class, or we can mark department as a transient. Now we have done the serialization, we have got the byte stream. Now again we want to convert our byte stream into the object. So the reverse process of converting byte stream again to the object is called the deserialization, and the function which is responsible for that is the public final object read object. So we can see it is returning the object, and it is the final. That means we cannot override it. Transient instant will not participate in the serialization and deserialization process, so it will always store the null references. Static variable. So static variable are the class label variable, and serialization and deserialization is a process of converting object to the byte stream, and again byte stream to the objects. So static variable will also not participate in the serialization process, but yes, the latest value, whatever the latest value or updated value they hold, that will be retrieved during the deserialization process. This is the overall serialization and deserialization process. At the left hand side, it is the serialization. We have the object, which class is implementing the serializable interface. We are converting it into the byte stream, then we are storing it into the file, or we can store it into the database, or we can store it into the memory. While we deserializing it, we'll first get those byte stream from the file, db, or memory, and again we can convert it into the object and we can use it in our projects. So folks, this is all about serialization and deserialization. I'll cover one example code in my next tutorial. Thank you so much.